time, the one currency you never get back. The only resource every human is born with equally, yet spends so differently. And how you spend it, that is your life. That is your story. That is your legacy being written in real time. Not in years, not in decades, but in moments. You don't manage time, you spend it. And what you spend it on is a reflection of what you value most, not in your words, but in your habits, not in your dreams, but in your decisions. The truth is, you can waste money and make it back, but the seconds you let slip through your fingers like sand, they never return. They don't pause, they don't ask permission, they just leave. And yet so many treat time like it's renewable, like it will wait for them to get serious, like they can casually toss it at distractions, delay, indecision, and someday get a refund. There is no refund for wasted time. You must learn with precision, with power, with urgency, how to spend your time wisely. Not just efficiently, wisely. Because efficiency is doing things right. Wisdom is doing the right things. And the first right thing is to wake up fully. Most people sleepwalk through their day. Their morning isn't owned, it's borrowed. From noise, from urgency, from messages, notifications, distractions that beg for their attention before their soul even has a chance to speak. You don't start your day with the world. You start it with yourself. Because the most important meeting you'll ever have is not on your calendar. It's with your character. That's where clarity is born. If you don't choose your focus, someone else will. And when others dictate your attention, you surrender your direction. Clarity begins with elimination. You don't need more time, you need fewer leaks. You need to stop leaking time on things that do not multiply your mission. You need to stop bleeding minutes into obligations that aren't aligned with who you're becoming. Because every yes you give to what doesn't matter is a no to the life you say you want. This is where discipline becomes holy. Discipline isn't about restriction. It's about reverence for your time, your energy, your life. People think freedom means doing whatever you want, but real freedom is the power to choose only what matters. And you cannot choose what matters if you are busy reacting. You must create. You must lead your time like a commander, not tiptoe through it like a prisoner, hoping for extra hours to magically appear. They won't. But what will appear if you spend your time wisely is momentum. Momentum is built through motion, but not just any motion, meaningful motion. Are you moving with intention or just moving? Are you busy or are you building? Activity is not accomplishment. Movement is not mastery. Busyness is not progress. You must measure your day not by how full your calendar looks, but by how aligned your hours are with your values. Because if your time doesn't reflect what you say matters, then it never mattered to you. And that's a brutal truth. But the moment you face it, you regain your power. You reclaim your hours. You rebuild your identity. You stop being the victim of your to-do list and start becoming the architect of your existence. And that existence must be built on purpose. Because time spent without purpose is life diluted, its potential forgotten, its greatness wasted on convenience. You are not here to fill time. You are here to fulfill a purpose. And purpose does not wait for you to feel ready. It does not arrive with a schedule. It reveals itself when you stop numbing your day with distractions and start carving your day with intention. Everything you want, every dream, every goal, every breakthrough requires time. And not just more of it, better hours, better focus, better decisions. That's how you multiply your minutes. Through presence. Because presence is the force that turns a single hour into a lifetime of impact. Presence is the decision to show up fully, not halfway, not multitasking, not drifting in and out of your power, but fully here. That's how leaders move. That's how empires are built. That's how lives are changed. Not in the scattered noise of divided attention, but in the sacred silence of undivided presence. So ask yourself, where is your presence being pulled? Who or what is siphoning your time away from your mission? It's time to audit, not just your schedule, but your soul. Because time spent is energy spent, and energy doesn't lie. You can fake interest, you can fake effort, but your energy always reveals what you truly value. So take it back. Take your time back. Guard it like gold. Spend it like seed. Because every hour is either an investment or a withdrawal from the life you say you want. And if you spend enough hours wrong, You won't have a life to build. You'll only have a list of things you wish you had done. And regret is the invoice for time spent poorly. It doesn't hit you right away. It waits. It lingers in the background of your life like a whisper, like a shadow. It grows louder with every moment you postpone your potential. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow. Every time you let fear decide, let distraction lead, let convenience become king. But tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And if it does come, it brings with it a question you can't run from. What did you do with the time I gave you? And how you answer that question, that is your life's work. Because every second you're breathing is sacred. Not someday, not later, not when the stars align. Now, right now is the only currency you have. And if you don't treat it like treasure, you'll treat it like trash. Thrown into people, places, pursuits that don't return the investment. You must become ruthless with your time, not cruel, ruthless. Because your time is not neutral. It's either pulling you forward or holding you hostage. And there are thieves everywhere, not just on your phone, not just in your inbox, but in your habits, in your hesitations. In the version of you who says, let's wait until it's perfect. Let's wait until we feel ready. You don't wait to value time. You decide that from this moment forward, your time belongs to your becoming, to your evolution, to your vision, to your mission, to your legacy. Not to the noise, not to the trivial, not to the temporary highs that steal from your eternal purpose. This is how you begin to spend your time wisely. You say no. You say no more than you say yes, until your yes means something. You say no to what's urgent but not important. You say no to energy that subtracts instead of multiplies. You say no to the part of you that wants to be liked more than it wants to lead. And in that space, in that beautiful clearing, you find the time you always thought you lacked. It wasn't missing. It was buried under compromise. And now you unbury it. You reclaim your minutes. You rebuild your hours. And you reorder your life. Not around pressure, not around opinion, but around purpose. Because when your time is aligned with purpose, you become unstoppable. You don't burn out. Because your fuel is fire, not fear. You don't chase balance, you create rhythm. You don't keep score with the world, you keep faith with your calling. And you understand what so many forget. You don't just use time. You become time. Every word you speak, every move you make, every project you pursue becomes a mark on the timeline of eternity. So the real question isn't, how do I spend my time wisely? The real question is, what kind of timeline am I building? A timeline that fades with noise, or a timeline that echoes with impact? Choose wisely. Because time isn't just ticking, it's telling. It's telling the story of who you really are, and it's waiting for you to finally make it count. Make it count, not with busyness, but with boldness. Not with frantic motion, but with focused mastery. Because time honors those who honor it. And when you honor your time, life begins to unfold in a rhythm you can trust. A rhythm not dictated by pressure, but by precision. By the inner knowing that what you say yes to carries your signature. It carries your legacy. That's why every yes must be sacred. You don't say yes to be liked. You don't say yes to avoid discomfort. You say yes because it matters, because it aligns, because it serves your highest path. And anything less than that deserves a no. Not out of ego, but out of excellence. Because time spent in the wrong room costs more than just minutes. It costs momentum. And momentum is a sacred thing. It's the reward of alignment. The byproduct of wise time spent on what feeds your spirit, sharpens your mind, strengthens your body, and deepens your calling. When you protect your time, you protect your power. And when you protect your power, you walk differently. You move with calm intensity. You listen more, react less. You create more, consume less. You stop chasing and start choosing. Choosing to spend your time on what multiplies, on what compounds, on what turns effort into elevation. Because time multiplies when invested in the right things. Read the right books, your wisdom compounds. Train the right habits, your strength compounds. Build the right systems, your freedom compounds. Have the right conversations, your influence compounds. Time is not just something you spend. It's something you plant. And every minute you plant in alignment will bear fruit. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but in time. Because time doesn't just test you, it reveals you. It reveals what you're loyal to. And if you're loyal to the urgent, the convenient, the fleeting, you'll reap exhaustion. But if you're loyal to the meaningful, the eternal, the transformational, you'll reap a life of deep satisfaction. A life that feels rich, not just because you did more, but because you did what mattered. That's the measure of wise time. Not volume, value, not hustle, harmony. Not how many hours you filled, but how much of yourself you gave to what deserved it. Because at the end of your life, no one will ask how busy you were. They'll ask how much of you was present in the moments that counted. Did you love fully? Did you build boldly? Did you rest deeply? Did you rise when it was hard? Did you use your time to reflect truth, to live awake, to walk out the fire you were born to carry? That's what it means to spend your time wisely. It's not about cramming in productivity. It's about walking in purpose. And every second you do that, you win. Because the true wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in minutes, well spent. And you've got time right now. So use it like your life depends on it, because it does. It does every single breath, every tick of the clock, every passing glance from the sun across your window. Time is not patient. Time is not gentle. Time is not waiting for your confidence to catch up. It moves. And the only thing more powerful than time itself is what you do with it. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another reminder. You need a decision, a final, unwavering, irreversible decision to live your life like every second matters, because it does. You can build a new body in time. You can restore your mind in time. You can heal your heart in time. You can rebuild your empire in time, but only if you stop spending your minutes on mediocrity. Only if you stop giving your golden hours to things that don't move the needle of your life. The show you binge, it's not free, it costs you your legacy. The endless scrolling, it's not harmless, it bleeds your mission. The conversations that drain you, they're not neutral, they delay your greatness. You've got to guard the gates of your time like a warrior, because every minute you let through that gate is either building you or breaking you. There is no neutral. There is only what expands you and what consumes you. You must choose expansion, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one sees you grinding, because that's how greatness is grown, not in a rush, not in a flash, but in the slow, consistent, intentional investment of time into the right things, into mastery, into presence, into purpose. So build your life around it. Build your routines to serve your highest goals. Build your environment to reflect your future, not your fears. Build your circle to respect your time, not expect your time, because this is sacred. Your minutes are sacred. Your time is sacred. And when you start treating it that way, life opens up. Opportunities arise. Doors swing. People notice. Not because you shouted, but because you showed up with a presence that said, I value my time and I use it for the things that matter. And the world follows that kind of energy. It honors that kind of decision. So make it now, not tomorrow, not when it's easy, not when the timing is perfect. Now, make the decision to become the kind of person who spends time like royalty, who treats minutes like miracles, who walks through each day knowing this is my life and I refuse to waste it. Because time is moving. The question is, are you moving? Not just physically, not just busy, but forward, with intention, with design, with the fire of someone who knows they were not born to drift, to delay, to dabble, but to dominate the day, to look time in the face and say, you are mine and I will not waste you. Because you are not here to survive the clock. You are here to command it, to organize your life around what actually matters, not what feels urgent, not what gets likes, not what fills the silence, but what builds the legacy. What builds the body of work that says, I was here. I lived awake. I gave my time to something eternal. That's how the greats live. They don't just do more, they do what counts. They don't just manage time, they master it. They understand the difference between movement and mission, and they give their lives to mission. They say no to noise. They rise early not to brag, but to begin. They schedule their values, not their obligations. They know their calendar is a canvas, and every day is a stroke of their masterpiece. So look at your canvas. What are you painting? What are you creating? What are you letting fill the most limited, precious, irreplaceable currency you will ever own? Because time is asking. It asks you every morning. It asks you when you hit snooze. It asks you when you scroll past your dreams to feed your distractions. It asks you when you delay what matters again. But it also asks you when you rise with fire. It asks you when you open that book, when you train your body, when you protect your mind. It asks you when you say no to what tempts you and yes to what transforms you. Every choice is a message to time. I'm ready, or I'm still not. And the tragedy? Time will move either way. It is not waiting for your readiness. It rewards your clarity. So get clear. Clear on what you want. Clear on what matters. Clear on what steals your hours and gives you nothing in return. Cut it. Kill it. Starve it. Because you have no more hours to bleed. You have empires to build. Souls to reach. Potential to unlock. And every minute you spend away from that is a minute you betray what you were born to become. Spend wisely, because time is watching. And when you finally decide to walk in full alignment, full purpose, full intensity, it will meet you with miracles. Miracles that were waiting for your discipline, waiting for your decisions, waiting for your silence to turn into strategy, for your pain to turn into purpose, for your minutes to turn into momentum. Because momentum is not magic, it's math. It's what happens when seconds stack into minutes, minutes into hours, hours into days, all spent with sacred intent. And suddenly, the life you once begged for becomes the life you built. Not with luck, but with time well spent. You don't need more hours in the day. You need more honor in how you use them. You need to stop renting your focus to things that don't return your greatness. You need to stop giving your best energy to things you'll forget in 5 years. You need to stop calling it life when it's just a pattern of avoidance wrapped in productivity. You weren't made for that. You were made to master time, to wake up and know this hour matters, this decision matters, this season matters, because your future self is watching, and every minute is either feeding their power or stealing their promise. And make no mistake, your future self is real. They are standing in the life you're building right now, brick by brick, hour by hour. They either thank you or they resent you. So what will it be? Will they rise in a life of purpose, peace, and power? Or will they wake up in a reality shaped by your distractions? It's on you. No one is coming. No one will manage your time for you in a way that honors your mission. You must take the wheel. And when you do, everything changes. Because now you see it. Time is not the enemy. Time is not the pressure. Time is not the problem. Time is the gift. It's the divine, uncompromising, unstoppable gift you've been given to become everything you were meant to be. Use it. Use it like your soul depends on it, because it does. Because your soul was not sent here to waste days. It was sent here to wage war on mediocrity, to declare, with every hour spent in discipline, every minute offered to meaning, every second guarded like sacred treasure. This is my time, and I will not give it to anything that doesn't build the life I was born to live. You are not running out of time. You are running out of permission to keep pretending it doesn't matter, to keep drifting through days that deserve your full presence, to keep leaking your legacy into the cracks of distractions, obligations, and false urgency. But not anymore. Not after this. Because now, you know, time is not a clock. It's a mirror. It reflects your choices. It reflects your clarity. It reflects whether you're in alignment or in avoidance. And that reflection, it doesn't lie. You can fake effort to others, but you cannot fake it to time. It sees everything. It records everything. And it rewards only what is real. So make it real. Make your goals real. Make your vision real. Make your time count not someday, but this day. Because this day is the only one you have. This hour is the only hour that's ever yours. And if you don't use it now, it becomes a memory later. A memory of what could have been if you had only realized sooner. That time is your greatest wealth. Not because it's scarce, but because it's sacred. And when you treat it that way, it opens everything. It opens doors you didn't know existed. It clears paths that once felt impossible. It bends opportunities toward your discipline like iron to a magnet, not because you're lucky, but because you're locked in. Because when you walk in time with truth, time walks in step with you. It conspires in your favor. It opens the right rooms. It amplifies your energy. It multiplies your momentum. And it begins to echo through your habits, through your choices, through your very presence. People feel it, not because you're louder, but because you're more aligned. They don't see you hustling, they see you harnessing. Harnessing every minute to pour into purpose. harnessing every second to move with meaning, harnessing every breath like it's borrowed from eternity, and you've chosen to pay it back with impact. And that is the life of someone who spends their time wisely, not chaotically, not accidentally, not just efficiently, but intentionally. Because when you live this way, there's no such thing as wasted time. Even your rest is a weapon. Even your silence is strategic. Even your no's are powerful because they say, I know who I am. I know where I'm going, and I will not spend one more minute off course. This is mastery. Mastery of energy. Mastery of identity. Mastery of the only resource you can never earn again, your time. So protect it. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. And when you do, when you rise tomorrow with that fire, when you speak like every word shapes your hours, when you move like time is a tool, not a trap, you become unstoppable. Not because time slows down, but because you finally speed up in the direction that matters. That's the art. That's the call. That's the difference between drifting through life and defining it. So make the decision now. Make the shift now. Make your minutes matter. Because the clock is still ticking. And it's not just measuring time, it's measuring you. And what it measures becomes your legacy. Not just the titles you collect, not just the money you earn, not even the goals you crush, but the presence you gave to the process. The consistency you held when it was hard, the hours you sacrificed for mastery when no one clapped, the integrity of how you spent your life. Because that's what time is. Your life unfolding in real time, in small increments that either build something eternal or dissolve into excuses. And you don't get to hide behind distractions anymore. You don't get to say, someday, when today is in your hands. You don't get to waste your most powerful resource on people, habits, or thoughts that don't elevate your vision. You're too aware now, too awake, too deep in the truth to ever go back to casual living. And that truth is simple, but not easy. Every second has weight. And if you're not carrying that weight with purpose, it will crush you with regret. But if you do carry it consciously, courageously, consistently, that weight becomes your strength. That structure becomes your freedom. That discipline becomes your legacy. Because when you master your time, you don't just win the day, you own your life. So let that be the standard, not just for this season, not just while you're inspired, but every day from here on out. Let time know that you're done treating it like a side thought. That from this day forward, you're here to spend it like a warrior spends their last breath, deliberate, clear, and unstoppable. And when the clock ticks its final second, when your chapter closes and they ask what you did with this one shot called life, let your answer be this. I made every second sacred. I gave my time to greatness. I spent it all on becoming everything I was born to be.